Welcome back to Bahamian Mathematics. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share to see more videos just like this one on the Bahamian Mathematics YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be discovering metric units of length. There is a system called the metric system which uses multiples of 10 from unit to unit. We will look at the centimeter, the kilometer, the millimeter, the meter, and other units of length in the metric system. Let's see how that works. First of all, what is length? Length is considered how long, or how wide, or how tall an object is, depending on how it's positioned. And here are some examples. The length of a pencil from one end to the other, that is length. The distance between two cities from one city to the next, that's also considered a length. Or even the thickness of a pin, that's considered length. And in the metric system, each unit is a multiple of 10. To get from unit to unit, you multiply by 10 or you divide by 10. And just thinking about that, let's pretend that this blue dot is called a millimeter. It's kind of small. And if we had 10 of those millimeters, that would give us 1 centimeter. And if we took that centimeter and we had 10 of those, if we put those together, we would get 1 decimeter. And again, if we took 10 of those decimeters and we put them together, we would get 1 meter. And so let's look at the metric system and all of its units. The standard unit of length is the meter. And you remember this meter stick may be in your classroom and your teacher using one on the board. The abbreviation for meter is a small m. And we use meters to measure things like the height of trees or the height of a ladder. Now for very small units, like the thickness or the length of a pin or an ant, we use millimeters. And the abbreviation is mm, two small m's. And 10 millimeters gives us 1 centimeter. The abbreviation is cm. Again, this is used for measuring small things. And when we have 10 centimeters, that gives us 1 decimeter, the abbreviation dm. When we put 10 decimeters together, it gives us a meter. And when we have 10 meters, that is called a decameter, the abbreviation dam. If we have 10 decameters, that gives us a hectometer, abbreviation hm. And lastly, if we have 10 hectometers, that gives us a kilometer, and the abbreviation is km. And kilometer is used to measure long distances, and the map is there to show us that from country to country or city to city, we usually state these in kilometers. You can see that millimeters are used to measure short distances or short lengths, all the way down to the larger units or the long units down to kilometer. And so let's look at each one. The millimeter, abbreviation mm. If this were a centimeter ruler, the distance between one of the very small lines and the line right next to it, that distance is a millimeter. You can see how small that is, how short of a distance that is. This is a millimeter. And again, we use the millimeter to measure things like an ant, a pin, beads, a pencil lead, or seeds. These are very small items, and these are measured using millimeters. Let's look now at centimeter. Centimeter is 10 millimeters, so it's bigger than a millimeter, 10 times as big. And again, the centimeter ruler, if we look at the distance from one marking to another marking between 1 and 2, that distance is a centimeter. It also is the same distance between 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and so on. That is a centimeter. Centimeters can be used when we're trying to measure things like a coin, a bottle, a comb, a pencil, or a toothbrush. These are a little bit bigger than the previous slide, and we can use centimeters to measure these. Now let's look at decimeter. 10 centimeters gives us a decimeter. The abbreviation is dm, and again on the centimeter ruler, the distance between 0 and 10, that distance between the red arrows is a decimeter. And this is not normally commonly used, but we can use it to measure things like a baseball bat or a chair. But normally we use the meter, which is the next slide. And so let's look at the meter Abbreviation M, 10 decimeters gives us a meter. And here's the meter ruler that you may have seen in your classrooms at one point. That is a meter. The distance from one end to the other, that is a meter. It also is 1,000 millimeters, and it is 100 centimeters. And we use the meter to measure things that are a little bigger than the previous slide, like a room, or the height of a basketball pole, or an adult, or a tractor, or a vehicle. These larger things we use meters to measure. Now let's look at two larger units than the meter, which are not often used as well. 10 meters gives us a decameter, D-A-M. So 1 decameter is 10 meters. So if we had 10 of these meter sticks, that distance is a decameter. And if we had 10 decameters, it would give us a hectometer. Abbreviation HM. 1 hectometer is 100 meters. So imagine having 100 of these rulers side by side. That is a hectometer. And finally, a kilometer, abbreviation KM, is 1,000 meters. So imagine 1,000 meter sticks side by side, which is very long. That is a kilometer. And this is used to measure long distances. So if we imagine the distance from the Marathon Mall to the Lynden Pendling International Airport, that's 17 kilometers. Or the distance from Nassau in the Bahamas to Orlando in Florida, that is 554 kilometers. So we use the kilometer when we want to represent long distances. And now it's quiz time. Choose the best measurement for the following. The length of a car. Time's up. The answer is 4 meters. Question 2. Choose the best measurement for the thickness of a credit card. Time's up. The answer is 1 millimeter. Credit cards are very thin, and so 1 millimeter is the best choice. Number 3. Choose the best measurement for the height of a door. Time's up. The best answer is 2 meters. Question 4. Choose the best measurement for the distance from Nassau to Miami. I'm sure you figured out this is 300 kilometers. And the last one, question 5. Choose the best measurement for a 12-inch ruler. Time's up. The answer is 30 centimeters. I'm sure you've seen a ruler before with inches and centimeters on it, and you can remember it had 30 centimeters on one side. And now you've solved the mystery of metric units of length. Well done.